Hey beautiful people, welcome back to another yoga practice. My name is Sarah if I haven't met you before, and I am so happy to be here with you in this beautiful new space. I'm so blessed to be able to film here for today. Today's practice, we're going to be focusing on one of the yamas, and the yamas are kind of ethical guidelines for how we turn up in the world. It is the first limb of the Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga, and there are 5 of them in total. So each week of December, we'll be focusing on a different one. In January, we'll be focusing on the niyamas, which are also ethical guidelines, but they're how we kind of turn up inwards. So it's a bit more inward looking, whereas yamas are more external looking. And the yama we'll be focusing on today is Ahimsa. And Ahimsa translates to non-violence, non-harming. And we can not only interpret this as not harming other people or not harming other beings or nature, and not only not acting in a harmful way, but also not thinking about them in a harmful way, but also we can interpret this as ourselves. So being non-violent towards ourselves, being compassionate and kind. And I think one of the reasons we can be violent or we can be harmful to others is we create separation, I and them. And because of that otherness, we are able to create those negative pathways, those negative thoughts. And the practice of yoga asks us to see each other, see ourselves as one, and to create union, because we are all a shared consciousness. We are all kind of shared, we all have shared experiences. And when we create that union and that harmony, we are able to live in a more peaceful way, and we don't need to create pleasure out of hurting other people, when we can create pleasure and joy and blissfulness from being one with ourselves and being one with others. So today's practice, physically, we're going to be bringing a lot of attention to our heart space and creating space for those new kind of pathways to form. Let's start in a seat. Of course, if you found another position that worked for you to just check in, maybe that's lying down on your back, or if you wanted a block, you can bring that underneath your hips as well. Closing down the eyes when you feel ready. Finding a tall spine on a breath in. Exhaling, keeping that length, but just letting go of some of the weight in your body, grounding it towards the earth. And just take a moment to check in with the mind. Notice how you're turning up in your practice today without any judgment. Trying to create almost neutralness within the mind, contentness. It's another niyama, which is santosha, our contentness of whatever experience that we're having. And then can you start to bring some awareness to the heart space? Noticing how the heart is feeling today. What energies are being held in this energetic place. And I think it's important to remember that all of us, we are all love. We all have it within us. And sometimes it's a little bit more challenging to find, but once we connect to it and once we act from that place of loving ourselves or loving others, then the world feels a lot lighter and a lot more peaceful and a lot more harmonious. Just take a couple of deeper breaths through both nostrils, filling up the lungs, filling up the diaphragm, the chest, exhaling, letting go. Feeling that harmony between the inhales and the exhales, breathing in. Exhaling. One more breath like this. Exhale, keep the eyes closed. We're going to take a breath in, sweep the arms up towards the sky. Press the palms together, and then as you exhale, can you trail your thumb down the third eye, down the nose, and the lips, land it towards your heart center. 3 more breaths like this. Inhaling, sweeping the arms high. Exhaling, drawing it in. 2 more. Maybe you start to constrict the back of the throat, finding your Ujjayi pranayama. Finding a bit more control and ease within the breath. 1 more. Breathing in, scooping all that energy up, and then feeling it draw down inwards. Start to open the eyes. We're going to find our way into a tabletop position. So hands come underneath the shoulders, knees come underneath the hips. Spread the fingertips wide, and we'll flow through a couple rounds of cat and cow. Inhaling to drop the belly, lift the eye gaze, shoulders pull back. And then as we exhale, we press away from the ground. Draw the belly button into the spine. A couple more rounds in your own breath. So today we're going to move a little bit slower, but we've still got a couple of standing postures. Again, just focusing on opening the heart. Also doing a little bit of hip opening as well. Can you feel the heart space pull forward on your breath in? And exhaling, feeling the back of the heart press up towards the sky. Letting this movement come from a place of joy, from a place of kind of openness and patience for oneself. Not being judgmental of where your body may or may not be today. Let's take 2 more breaths. And you can still utilize your Ujjayi pranayama here, so that constriction of the back of the throat. Allowing us to slow down our movements and find a bit more freedom. Find your way back through center. Use your next breath in, tap the right knee towards the right elbow, and then as you exhale, scoop the right knee behind the left, so you find a little cross-legged position. Take your feet out towards the outsides of the mat, so the right foot towards the left foot towards the right. You might need to walk your hands back a little bit, and then take a few shifts forward and back. These might be small, or they might be a little bit bigger, and you might even be able to touch your hips towards the ground. Just depends on how open your hips feel today. This is our Gomukhasana cow face pose. The further away your feet are from each other, the more you might feel this in the hips. Take 1 more breath here. And you might hold in a bit of stillness for just 1 more breath, finding that position that feels potentially a little bit uncomfortable, and just trying to breathe into that space. Finding your way back through center. Keep the legs where they are, but inhale, drop the belly, lift the eye gaze, shoulders pull back, cow. Exhale, around through the upper back, cat. You might notice that the range is challenged a little bit more here with the legs crossed, and at any point you can uncross them as well. Two more breaths. Nice. Start to walk your hands back a little bit more through center. Use your next breath in, tap the right knee to the right elbow again. And then as you exhale, step the right foot outside the hand. Start in your kneeling lunge. Adjust your legs as they need so that the right knee is stacked on top of the ankle. You might take a little shift from side to side, just dropping the hips down towards the ground. feeling the left psoas, the hip, one of the hip flexors open up. And you can absolutely stay down on the ground, maybe come onto fingertips. Another option is to bring the hands towards the thigh, taking a deep breath in to lift through the crown of the head, maybe even push through the right foot a little bit more. Exhale, dropping the hips down, melting any tension away. You could stay here, or you could wrap your hands behind your back. Clasping the hands together, take a deep breath in as you start to open the chest a bit more. As you exhale, slide the thumbs down the left leg. One more breath. Hands come towards the ground, frame out the front foot. Start to lengthen the right leg as you push your hips back into your Ardha Hanumanasana, your half splits. Right knee might be bent quite a lot here, or might be softly bent. Deep breath in to try to lift and lengthen the chest. Exhale, maybe folding a little bit deeper. Tucking the chin in a little bit. Let's take one more deep breath in. Find that ripple through the spine as you lift up. Exhale, letting it go. You could absolutely stay down, or you come up into left fingertips. Take a deep breath in as you reach the right hand towards the sky. Exhale, find a twist. So you might need to bend your right knee a little bit more here. One more breath. Maybe lifting the eye gaze towards the sky or towards your right thumb. Plant the left hand down, keep grounded on the left knee as you start to take the right foot towards the back of the mat. Keep it floating as you bend the right knee, take the right hand around the right foot. Maybe just pull the foot towards the glutes, or you could try find a little kick back, finding your half bow, Ardha Dhanurasana. Squeeze the glutes slightly, shoulders roll back, lift out of that left hand. Take one more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, land the right hand and the right knee down. Let's try that on the other side. Use your next breath in, left knee to left elbow. Exhale, cross the left knee behind the right knee. Take your feet as wide as feels comfortable today. They might be a little bit further towards each other. Walk with the hands back a little bit. You could stay here, or you could start to shift forward and back. In the asana practice, our kind of movement practice kind of gives a great landscape, is a great tool to be able to understand and listen into the mind. Sometimes it can be very hard to notice what goes on, but with our asana, it gives us space to see and to know and to understand. So keep trying to bring awareness to whatever thoughts pop in your mind, noticing the textures of them, noticing any judgments or negative connotations. One more breath. And then you might hold a little bit further back. Again, if you feel like you have space, you could touch the hips towards the ground, but try not to force anything. That non-violence also comes from not pushing ourselves to places that we're not ready for yet. Come back through center, cat and cows, breathing in, dropping the belly, lifting the eye gaze, shoulders pull back. Exhale, round the other way. Using your own breath, let's try 2 more breaths here. And then walking your hands back through the center of the mat. Breathe in as you take the left knee towards the left elbow. And then step the left foot outside the hands or even a little bit further forward. Wiggle your knee back as you need to land the left knee on top of the heel. Take a little shift from side to side. How deep can you make your breath here? Make it easy and free. You could stay with the hands down. You could bring the hands towards the thigh. Maybe you lift up a little bit higher. And with any tension that you experience, can you be curious of it? And then ask yourself to breathe into it a little bit more. Stay here, or maybe you wrap your hands behind the back, clasp the hands together. Take a deep breath in as you open through the chest. And then as you exhale, maybe you slide the thumbs down the leg a little bit more, opening through the heart. One more deep breath in. Exhale. Hands come towards the ground. Take a little shift back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana. So hips back a little bit, left toes are lifted. Knee is as bent as feels good here. Deep breath in, find a little bit more length, maybe coming high onto the fingertips. Exhale, just folding yourself forward. One more breath. Maybe staying on the right fingertips, bend that left knee in a little bit more if you need. Breathe in, sweep the left hand high. Exhale, twist the heart a little bit more towards the left. Eye gaze lifts, shoulders away from ears. One more breath. Plant the right hand down, ground the right knee. Breathe in as you sweep the left foot back, clasping the left hand on top of the ankle. Exhale, maybe just foot to glute, or you might kick away a little bit more, expanding the heart space forward. One more breath. Land the left hand down, find tabletop again. Knees stay over the hips, take a big step forward with both hands. Deep breath in. As you exhale, puppy pose. Melting the heart space down to the ground. Finding space through the spine. If the forehead grounds, then welcome that. If you felt like you had a little bit more space, so the heart is pretty close to the ground, you might start to pick up the eye gaze and bring it in between your hands. You could absolutely stay here. And if you feel at any point any pinching through the spine, then just release it. Again, coming back to that place where you feel ready and comfortable, not forcing any positions in your body today. Two more deep breaths. And then starting to walk your hands back. Find your cat position. Press away from the ground, countering that big heart opener. When you're ready, tuck onto the toes, lift the hips up, but we're going to walk our hands back towards our feet. Uttanasana, forward fold. Feet land about hip width distance. Soften the upper body here. Bend your knees as much as you need for the belly to rest along the thighs. Keep the chin tucked in. And with your hands, maybe you find a ragdoll, finding that clasp, kind of that cradle of self. You could stay here. Another option is to kind of bring your hands behind the back of your legs, almost giving yourself a hug here as well. And in this moment, can you find some self-compassion, self-love, maybe thinking about one thing at the moment that you may be grateful about for yourself. One more deep breath in. Deep breath out, letting go. Hands come to the shins, breathe in, lift yourself halfway, shoulders in line with the hips. And then as you exhale, fold yourself forward, Uttanasana. Inhale to rise, start to sweep the arms up and over the head, Urdhva Hastasana, press the palms towards each other. And then as you exhale, Tadasana, hands come by the sides, turn the palms forward, soften the shoulders away from the ears. We're going to try a little bit of some standing balance here. Use your next breath in, shift the weight into the right foot as you lift the left knee high, lift the arms. And then as you exhale, flex the left foot, cross the left foot over the right thigh and sink down into your Ardha Utkatasana, your half chair. Left knee is pressing down towards the side, hips are back, shoulders away from ears. Use your next breath in, keep the foot where it is, lengthen the right leg, arms sweep high. Exhale, hands through heart center, center yourself back. Let's try that 2 more times. Breathing in, lifting up high, keeping that knee pressing out. Exhale, sink yourself back. Let's try 1 more like that. Breathing in, feeling that energy draw up with the hands. Exhaling, pulling everything inwards. Start to cross the left foot over the right. Keep the knees bent and then fold yourself forward. Uttanasana. So you got that bent leg, especially with that right knee. And start to walk yourself forward. Finding those Gomukhasana position again. So left knee crosses on top of the right. Take your feet out wide. Deep breath in here. See if you can wander your foot out a little bit more. And then as you exhale, finding that position that feels comfortable for you to sit in for 1 more breath. Deep breath in. Exhale, letting any tension release in the hips and the spine. Roll yourself back up again. Breathe in as you draw the right knee towards the right elbow. Exhale, step the right foot outside the right hand. Maybe wander that left knee back a little bit. Stay down with the hands, or you can bring hands towards the thigh. Stay here, or start to reach your arms up above your head. Anjaneyasana. Deep breath in, press away from the right foot a little bit. Exhale, drop down a little bit more. You can stay down on the ground, or you could tuck the left toes and then start to lift the left knee off the ground. High lunge, back leg is long. Shoulders away from ears. Stay here, or start to lean back as much as feels good. So it could be a little lean, or you can make this even a bigger lean. Just try squeeze the glutes a little bit to support the spine and the hips. Shoulders away from ears. 1 more breath. Breathing into the heart. Exhale to soften. Hands come behind the back, clasp the hands together. Maybe you land the left heel down. Take a deep breath in, trail the fingertips back. Exhale, humble warrior. Heart space draws on the inside of the right thigh as you knuckles pull towards the front of the mat. Eye gaze draws to left foot. Drop into the hips a little bit more if you can. 1 more breath. Squeeze the palms. Hands frame out front foot. Step back to Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Lift the hips, soften the heels, arms along. Breathe in as you start to roll forward into your plank position. And then as you exhale, lower the knees down, and then spinal wave your hips towards the ground, and then heart towards the ground. Elbows come out in front slightly to find our Salamba Bhujangasana, our sphinx pose. Squeeze the glutes here. Shoulders pull back. Now, if you wanted a little bit more, we can find our half bow here as well. Right elbow plants down, bend the right knee. You might stay here, or maybe the left hand comes behind. This makes it a little bit more challenging. You could just stay with the foot clasped. The foot pulling towards the glutes, or if you want a bit more, start to kick away. Draw the left shoulder back a little bit, squeeze the glutes, right heel pulls towards the back of the mat, and then upwards. 1 more breath in. Exhale, lowering yourself down. Hands come towards the ribs. Breathe in as you press onto the knees. Exhale, child's pose. Send the hips back over the heels, grounding the forehead down. 1 more deep breath in. Exhale to let go. Any tension in the body and the mind just melting away. Start to roll yourself up again into tabletop position. Deep breath in. Exhale, tuck the toes. Start to walk the hands back towards the feet. Again, feet land about hip width distance. Hands wherever feels good for you. Keep the hips lifting high. Crown of the head reaching down towards the ground. Finding deep surrender to self. Bring the hands towards the shins, breathe in, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, shoulders away from ears. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, rise, lift the arms, maybe a little back bend if that feels good here, squeeze the glutes. Exhale, Tadasana, hands come by the sides, palms forward, finding a moment of grounding. We're going to try that on the other side. I'm going to start to shift the weight into the left foot. Breathe in as you sweep the right knee high, lifting the arms above the head. As you exhale, cross the right foot over the left, sink yourself back, right toes flex, right knee drops down. Keep the right foot where it is, breathe in, lengthen the left leg, sweep the arms up high. Exhale, press the hip back, hands through heart center. Let's try that 2 more times, breathing in. Breathing out. 1 more breath, slow the breath down. Cross the right foot over the left, fold yourself forward. Left knee bends a lot. It's okay if the right heel isn't on the ground. Start to walk yourself forward, finding our Gomukhasana legs again. So knees land down, right knee crosses over in front of left. Take the left foot to the side, to the right foot towards the left. And then maybe you stay here, maybe you shift yourself back towards the hips, or maybe somewhere in between. 1 more deep breath in, find a little longer spine. Exhale, finding depth. Come back through center. Breathing in, left knee towards left elbow. Exhale, left foot outside the left hand. Walk that right knee back a little bit if you need. Stay down if you want, or you can bring the hands towards the thighs. Stay here, or use your next breath in. Lift the arms above your head, press away from the left foot. Exhale, finding a little bit more softness. Again, you could stay here, you could tuck onto the right toes, maybe lifting the right leg off for high lunge. A little tuck of the tailbone here. If you want to find a back bend, taking a deep breath in to open and lengthen. Exhale, feeling this heart space shine forward. Hands wrapped behind the back. Clasp the hands together, deep breath in, pull the knuckles back. Exhale, maybe landing the right heel as you draw your heart space to the outside of the left leg. If you wanted a bit more support, you can land your chest on the left thigh. 1 more breath. Hands frame out the front foot. Step back into your downward facing dog. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, press the hips up and back a little bit more. Inhale, roll forward into your plank. As you exhale, knees come down. Find that ripple, squeezing the glutes, lowering the hips first, and then the heart. Elbows walk forward, finding our sphinx pose. Drawing shoulders away from the ears, squeezing the glutes slightly. Little tuck of the tailbone here as well. So we're kind of lifting the belly away from the ground, and that's going to keep our lower spine pretty long. Stay here, or you can find your half bow. Left elbow presses down, left foot picks up. Stay here, or maybe the right hand comes behind to meet. Okay, if you want to, find a little bit of a kick, drawing the right shoulder back. Squeezing the glutes. Taking a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, lowering yourself towards the ground. Hands come by the ribs, press yourself up. Shift yourself back into child's pose. Hips over the heels. You can stay with your hands forward, or maybe you wander them down towards your feet. Kind of clasping your hands around the heels is a way to bring some weight, bring some energy inwards. Kind of checking in with your energy. Noticing if anything has shifted. Noticing if any kind of judgmental thoughts have arisen, and if they have, just bring awareness to it first. Try not to judge those thoughts. Sometimes we can experience a lot of shame or a lot of guilt from, having judgment of ourselves or of others. But I think awareness and just bringing neutrality into our thoughts allows us to not see it as good or bad, and it means that we have more space to change and replace those thoughts with more positive thoughts. Now you can stay here, or if you wanted to find rabbit pose, our sasangasana, hands wrap again around the outsides of the heels or onto the ankles, and then you start to lift the hips up. You draw the chin towards the chest so the crown of the head is landing down on the ground, and you try pull away from your feet as much as you can, drawing the shoulder blades apart, drawing belly button towards the spine. Take one more deep breath in here. Exhale to hold. And then slowly lowering towards the ground. Hands come back out the front. Roll yourself up into tabletop position. Right leg is going to go long out the back. Take a deep breath in. Either pulling the right knee up, or if you want a bit more of a challenge, try to keep the right leg long as you sweep it around. And then try as much as you can, place the right heel outside the right hand. You can absolutely bend your right knee here. Ardha Hanumanasana, right leg is slightly long. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Option here if you wanted to find that twist again. Breathe in as you sweep the right hand high. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper. One more breath. Shoulders away from the ears. Lift out of the left hand or the left fingertips. Bring the hands back forward. Right knee is going to draw towards the right wrist. So you can use your left hand here to help pull the foot across. Kapotanasana, pigeon pose. Walk the left foot back if you want. Try to square the hips off. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold yourself forward. Maybe elbows land. Tucking the chin in a little bit. And trying to find harmony between the breath and the body. And both can work together to help us access deeper parts of ourselves, whether that be physically or energetically. Letting go of any tension in the jaw and the face, the eyebrows. One more breath. You can stay down absolutely, or you can bring your hands up, maybe coming onto fingertips. If you felt like a little bit more of a balance challenge and you can walk yourself back enough, you could bring one hand towards heart center, maybe your right hand. If you wanted to try both, maybe left hand comes to meet it as well. Know that this requires quite a bit of opening through the right hip, and if you're feeling unstable, that's totally okay. If you wanted to try this and you aren't quite there yet, you could rock yourself back and bend the back knee to find more of a 90-90 position. Breathing into the thumbs, exhaling, drawing the shoulders back. Land the hands down. We're going to pivot towards the other side. So start to turn to the back of your mat. Left knee is going to bend this time. Right leg extends out long into our Kapotanasana. Deep breath in, find a little bit more length. Exhale, fold yourself forward.
2 more breaths here. And then just starting to walk the hands back. If you felt like it, you can absolutely stay down. Maybe you stay with the fingertips down or the hands down. You could try bring the left hand to heart center. And maybe you bring the right hand to heart center as well. Kind of need to have a bit of activeness through the lower legs, so pressing the left heel down a bit to support the weight. Again, you could also bend that back knee and rock back a little bit. One more deep breath in here. Exhale. Hands plant down. Shift the weight back into the right knee. Left heel is going to come outside the left hand. Ardha Hanumanasana. Maybe fingertips are down, left knee a little bit more bent. Stay here if you wanted to find a twist. Take a deep breath in, reach the left hand high. Exhale, pull that right shoulder underneath a little bit more. Left hand plants down, either with the leg bent or you can try keep it straight, winding it back to tabletop. So maybe you're lifting it up, scooping it around without lifting the left hip too high, and then drawing it back through center. Well done, everyone. Step the hands forward, take a deep breath in as you ripple the hips down. Exhale, land the hands together or the forearms together and just let the forehead rest down. We're going to finish our asana practice with one twist on each side. Start by drawing the right knee up towards the side of the mat. Left arm is going to thread towards the right underneath the body, and then slowly start to roll yourself towards your right. So the right shoulder comes down to the ground, left hand comes to the outside of the right thigh, and then my right eye gaze turns off over the right hand. It's likely you are off the mat in this position. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, find a little bit more depth in your twist. Come back through center. And we swap it out to the other side, lifting the left knee up to the side of the mat. Right hand threads through. And then roll yourself onto your back. I appreciate that we're at the back of the mat, so you might not be able to see what's going on, but hopefully you find yourself in a twist with the left shoulder on the ground. Deep breath in. Exhale. And we are just going to stay on our backs. So just wind that left foot towards the ground, and then maybe you walk yourself onto your mat a little bit more. If you wanted to find any other asanas, any other movements to finish out your practice, then go for it. Otherwise, let's meet in Shavasana. Maybe the legs are long and the toes are turning out. You could also have the knees bent here. And an option I'll give with the hands is just one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Letting this be a way to ground energy inwards. Tapping into the space of the heart, into that space of love that is abundant if we tap into it. We'll just be here for a couple of minutes of quiet, just to absorb all the benefits of our practice so far. Just noticing if any tension has arisen in the physical body. And just seeing if we can use a clearing breath to let that go. So maybe that's a deep breath in through the nose, filling up with as much air as you can, and then maybe a big exhale, big sigh out of the mouth. One more breath, breathing in. Breathing out, letting go. Slowly start to move the body again. Keeping the eyes closed for as long as possible. And then when we're ready, making our way up into a seat. Just taking your time to arrive there. Maybe keeping the hands in the lap. Maybe you find the hand to heart, hand to belly. Maybe you find your Anjali Mudra, both hands at heart center. And as you go out into the rest of the day, don't forget that Ahimsa, non-violence, is not just a practice on the mat, it's a practice off the mat. So if you notice judgmental or negative thoughts coming up about yourself or others, just notice if you can dissolve that separation between you and them and try to reframe it as we are the same. I am you, you are me. And giving your unconditional love to these parts of yourself or others. Take a deep breath in, breathing in that love, that compassion, the kindness. Exhale, bowing our heads in gratitude for that. I thank you so much for practicing with me today. It was such a pleasure to be here with you. Namaste. Thanks everyone. If you enjoyed this practice, let me know down in the comments below. So just a recap, for the rest of December, we'll be going over other yamas in the yoga practice, and in January we'll be going over our niyamas. So yeah, get prepared for a little bit more philosophy, and if you wanted to explore in a little bit more depth, then our Patreon account is down below, which we post a little bit more content to as well, a little bit more depth. I hope to see you again sometime soon.